Welcome back, everybody. My name's Todd. Thanks again for coming and watching my series. For those of you returning, if you're new to the channel, please check out my first vlog for some background information on the open heart surgery. This is my open heart surgery recovery vlog. And as you can see, I'm back home. I'm doing really well. Thanks for all the support. And yesterday marked a week since I had the surgery. So I wanted to put some more videos out by now, but it's taken kind of a couple days to kind of get into a groove and get a routine together. So thanks for your patience. I'm going to try and catch up pretty quickly here. Today we're going to talk about the actual surgery day with some detail. So let's do this. Let's get into the gory details. It's not too bad, but there's some weird stuff. So the day of the surgery, my folks and I got up around 3 a.m. We needed to be at the hospital at 5 in the morning. So we needed time to get up. I needed to shower, get the antibacterial scrub and scrub everything on my chest, like I said before in one of the earlier videos. I wasn't supposed to put on any cologne or deodorant or powder or anything like that kind of stuff. Just all natural, all Todd. And the one thing I can't believe is, I talked about this in one of the videos, I had an antibacterial swab I was supposed to use inside my nose. I totally forgot to do that when I woke up. And I didn't realize that until I was getting taken upstairs, but I'll tell you more when I get to that point. So like I said, we need to be at the hospital at 5 a.m. We get there, as Dad says, dark 30, nobody's on the highway, nothing. Nobody's in the hospital. We had to get buzzed in. And we went to the admission area, and the admissions desk didn't even open until 5:30. So we sat there for about half an hour. My mom and I were there. My brother was already there, God bless him. He drove down from Baltimore to be there and was waiting for us already. So that was really cool to see. The desk opens up. You know, there's a little lady and her husband were there. They checked in first. I checked in behind them. Go over to the counter, and they had you fill out a bunch of forms, and you know, you pay your copay. I had like a $250 hospital admission copay, so I had to pay that, sign off on a bunch of stuff. The guy who's running the desk has to sign as a witness that you understand and you know certain things. So it's the typical kind of things you would think, you know, lawyer type jargon kind of stuff, but nothing crazy or weird. So nothing that I didn't want to sign. Some of the stuff was like, you know, releasing your medical records to other hospitals or doctors if they needed it, which is fine. You know, for me, that's okay. So we sat down again, waited, and then a couple minutes later, a nurse came down and got us. She was super nice, really cool and polite and very warming, and tried, you know, obviously she knows it's stressful and she's trained or just naturally an awesome person to kind of make you feel better about it. So we all kind of, you know, walk upstairs, get up to the top, and there's like a little pre-op room with a bunch of beds, and they have curtains around each of the beds, and it's, you know, you can see things are starting to get busy now. So there's me in there, there's a little lady who went ahead of me, some guy came in a couple minutes after that. I had to change into the gown and go use the restroom, and then they gave me this antibacterial gargle to use. So I had this mouthwash. So I went to go and, you know, in the bathroom gargling, and that stuff is foamy as hell, man. I started gargling, oh, and then just like, it was like a big foam thing just started coming out, and it got all over my front of me. I looked like such a dork, man. It was awesome. And I come out, and that's when I remember that I forgot to do the swab thing. So I told her, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot about the swab thing. And of course that combined with this big, you know, spit thing down the front of me, obviously was not a very good picture on my behalf, but she was really cool. She said, you know, this is just prophylactic stuff, so, you know, they're going to do some more things before we even get you in there, so don't worry about it. So I felt better after that. Then I get into bed, and now it starts getting more real that this is going to happen in a couple hours. So they start putting in IVs. I get an IV in my left arm. They start asking me about my allergies. I get 2 new wristbands. I had one actually when I went to the front desk. So I had that one wristband I had on my one arm last week for the pre-op screening. And then when I got to the front desk, they gave me another band that had my name and my birthday and stuff. And I had actually had initial on that. That's a big deal. and then I got the no allergies to medication or food kind of ban on that on top of that. So I had 3 different wristbands. Everybody started coming in, and every time they came in to talk to me, they asked me my name and my birthday because they want to make sure they're doing the right thing to the right person. So, a million fail-safes, which is fine. After a while, you just kind of, you see somebody walk in, you don't even like let them say their name. You're like, I'm Todd Yoakum, blah, 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 this birthday. And they just start cracking up. So I had the couple nurses coming in, doing stuff. They started shaving me with like one of these little shaving things that was inappropriate. It was kind of a weird, this lady who was a super nice nurse, but she just started shaving me right there, and it was just, I don't know, I'm a little weird about that stuff. So it was fine. And then some of the doctors started coming in. The first doctor I met was the anesthesiologist, and he's a super cool guy. And he came in really nice and started explaining things to me and telling me all the things that could happen during the surgery. And with the anesthesia, they started taking some blood from me, and then his assistant, there's an anesthesiology assistant who came in and started to try to brace my arm down. This was kind of like the worst part of the morning, I think. They were going to do like I forget what it was called, but it was through my wrist, and it was a serious thing because he taped my arm down to this bench and he numbed it so he could do work on it, and it didn't work out too well. I mean, my arm is like, I don't know if you can see, it was really bruised. I mean, it was jacked up the whole time I was in there, but it didn't work. The vein collapsed or something like that. But that was making me nervous because I'm sitting there, and every time my doctor came in, they kept looking over my wrist. I'm trying to look at the doctor, and they kept like looking over like something bad was going on, and I didn't want to look at my wrist because it was going to freak me out. But they actually at the end, finally said, "Nope, we're going to do something in there while you're under. Don't worry about it. We're fine. We'll do something instead, different." And I was like, "Okay, thank you very much." I mean, everybody was really cool about that. Some more nurses came in, some more doctors came in. My surgeon came in, super awesome guy. I really liked that guy a lot. He was really nice and did a good job explaining things. They start telling you all, they're signing more forms, like, you're acknowledging this and authorizing that and all that kind of stuff. And at that point, I'm just like, I'm really actually good about reading forms and taking time to read everything. I come from a family with a bunch of attorneys in there, and it's almost like the family motto, read everything before you sign. But at this point, F that, man. I was just like, do it. Let's go. So went through all that. I'm stating my name every time I see somebody. They start telling you all these weird things that could happen in surgery, like when they intubate you with a breathing tube, you could chip or lose a tooth or something, which, I mean, there's a bunch of different little things like that, weird things that could happen, and individually are not that bad, but taken all together right before you're going to go in, and you got this guy working on my wrist who's like trying to cut off my arm, and that was kind of a little nerve-wracking, but they did as best they could to kind of keep me, from freaking out. My heart rate was actually elevated at that point, and they had already put some leads on me for the EKGs and all that kind of stuff. So I finally had the doctor coming in, and everything's about ready to go. My family comes around the corner. It's kind of like for the last goodbyes. My mom, my dad, and my brother. My brother, who he and his wife had like a beautiful daughter, my niece, last year. He comes around the corner. He says, last time I see a view like this, there's a baby coming out. And everybody kind of started laughing. I said, well, look, if you're looking for the same kind of thing, there's a totally different surgery that I need to happen, and I don't want to do it. So they got another laugh, and everybody seemed pretty cool about it. I've had a running joke with friends that, I'm going to tell a doctor that when he's in there, if he wants to put in like one of those Iron Man arc reactors or something like that, that'd be great. I can fight crime in a month or so. And I used that joke and finally got to say it, and everybody laughed. He thought that was great. And so that was it. That was the time to go in. My folks, we all said goodbye and fare thee wells and all that kind of stuff, and see you on the other side. And they rolled out. I'm all pretty much ready to go. I'm hooked up to stuff. I feel like there's more things that are going in that I'm not really feeling at that point. I'm kind of sedated a little bit, but I'm still lucid and awake. They wheeled me down to the OR, and the OR was huge. I remember going in there. I'm like, holy moly! This is like where they they farm uranium or something. I mean, it is really high tech. There's all kinds of machines, very high ceiling. It may have been a teaching room. I couldn't tell. I couldn't make it out because I know it's a teaching hospital where I was at. But there's a bunch of people in there. I mean, it takes a village, right? And that's a common theme I'll talk about, how many people are involved in these kind of things. So get in there. I need to help. They need me to help move over into the table. So I kind of scooch over to the table, and that's pretty much it. That is all I remember from that point on. So I'm in surgery, and I think it was about maybe like 8 o'clock to about 1 or 2 when everything was all done and I was finally in the ICU where my folks could come visit me. So about 2 o'clock or so, I think my folks came and saw me. I was still out, and then slowly started waking up. And as I wake up in the ICU, I started coming out of it and my hands are restrained. They tell you that's going to happen because you still have the breathing tube in. And I remember waking up with the breathing tube in, but I don't remember feeling it anything or struggling or just kind of just like, when you try to wake up and you just kind of move around a little bit, that's how I remember it. So I don't feel any weirdness or panic or anxiety or anything like that, just that I had the breathing tube. And then I was kind of out for a little bit more, and then I woke up and my folks were there. So that was great. And they said everything went well with the surgery. The valve went in great. The doctor used the largest valve he had in the inventory, which I guess is good. Everything else in the rest of the heart looked good that he looked at. So, aces across the board. Good job. And I was in the ICU for a little longer, so the nurses helped me get into a chair. Like, I just had surgery. I'm like getting up, getting into a chair, kind of out of it still. I took a little video. You can see I was still kind of, I was able to kind of recognize. I remember very much being in the ICU. I got sick a little bit. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, but I did get a little sick. And fortunately, it wasn't like, like where you get really like violently ill. It was just like a little bit, so it didn't like hurt or anything like that. And by that point, when I'm in the ICU, I had all the trimmings, right? All the Thanksgiving trimmings. I had 2 IVs, 1 in each arm, high gauge or low gauge. I don't know, the large needles, right? So they can move stuff in and out fast. I had a urinary catheter in. I had 3 chest tubes, which were here, here, and here. And they were attached into like a main chest tube drainage thing that went into like some kind of mechanical suction measuring device. It looked like a little briefcase kind of thing, but that stayed with me for a long time with the chest tubes. Everything was kind of patched up. I had a femoral catheter in the surgery, which I think maybe replaced the wrist thing that they couldn't work out. So the actual catheterization, I think maybe for them to use like camera or other stuff, but I have an incision kind of in my groin. It's about this long, but that had been removed after the surgery and stitched up. So I just had a bandage there at this point. I had a bunch of monitor tags all over the chest. I had those little O2 meter on the end of your finger, which doesn't hurt, just kind of like clips on the end. I had a carotid catheter, which if you see in the older video, that's that thing, they call it the Christmas tree. And it's that big thing sticking out of my neck. I got like a little scar here where it went in, which honestly looks disgusting, but it doesn't feel, I didn't really feel, I just felt something just kind of sitting there, like something was sitting on my shoulder. Didn't hurt or anything like that. So that was good, but they used that quite a bit during the time I was rehabilitating. What I also had was an external pacemaker. So what that was, they had the wires in my chest on this side, and the leads were actually on like the pericardium, the little sac that the heart sits in, and it was attached to a box which would kick in if my heart rate didn't work or wasn't working, naturally. And I felt that a lot. And basically it felt like up here there was like I felt like there was a box or something that was going like this. When they said pacemaker, I actually thought there was a pacemaker in there, but no, you just feel like there's like something in there just kind of punching, and you feel and then you're okay, it's fine. But I think that's all the stuff I had. I mean, I was loaded for bear. I had every orifice pretty much, or place that they could. I had something sticking out of me or sticking in me or draining or putting stuff in. Fortunately, you know, I'm on a bunch of different painkillers at this point, some IV painkillers, and I didn't really feel too much, so that was okay. So I stayed in the ICU probably from 2, and they moved me down to the step-down unit at 10:30 that night. I was there hardly, I mean, by the end of the surgery was that morning, and I was at the step-down unit where I spent the rest of the time in the hospital in one day. That was just bloody amazing, man. I couldn't believe it. And the nurses were all, you know, excited, and they were saying, I can't believe he's in the chair. You know, I got moved from the bed to the chair. I can't believe he's doing so well. This is great. Everybody's really positive. And I really try to take the time to tell everybody I saw, you know, before the surgery and afterward. I said, you know, thank you so much for taking care of me. And it's something that was really important for me to do that because, and it's everybody too I talked to during the surgery, whether it was somebody that was, you know, cleaning my room or, you know, just wheeling me down to the x-ray room. Thank you so much for taking care of me. Thank you so much. And honestly, I don't think people hear that enough. The healthcare professionals don't really hear that stuff a lot because they always seem like taken aback that somebody would say that and they'd be, oh, no problem. You know, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. But, you know, it really was awesome that they did that. So there you go. That's surgery day recap. The next video I'll do will be a recap of day 2, my first day in the step-down unit. The first day, the surgery day, was the blurry day, kind of everything moved really fast. The second day is time to go to work, and I'll tell you more about that. So thanks again for stopping by. Thanks for the support. Looking forward to putting out some more videos soon, and I hope you have a great day. All right, thanks. Bye.